Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Jacqueline Marie's Art. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about what you should look for when choosing a wife or a husband. So I really believe that marriage is one of the foundations of our community, and it is very important, for marriage for our benefit and also for our children. So let's break this down. Let's start off by looking for what we should look for when choosing a husband. Okay, so you want to choose somebody who is, you're compatible with, also that you have great chemistry with, because you want a marriage that is full of lots of sex and sex that will last throughout the entirety of the marriage. So, compatibility is very important. Attraction is also very important. And I guess attraction leads to compatibility, or maybe it doesn't sometimes. So, make sure, you guys are compatible. Also, somebody who is going to take the lead role, who's going to be the man, who is not going to let you as a woman be a masculine figure. Somebody who will take responsibility for you, themselves, and the children, and that you could work together in a partnership with. Also, I would also go as far as to say someone who can wait to marry you, to have sex with you. Yes, that's very important because we're already, touched on the fact that sex out of marriage is not good for anyone. And it's also a detriment to actual marriage. So you want somebody, who is employable, who keeps a job, keeps a steady job, who is not selfish, who is generous, but you are not to take advantage of them, and somebody who is responsible with money, because money is very important for the maintenance of a household and a family, and somebody who sees the value in marriage, and somebody who values you as a woman, who sees you in as more than just one night stands, or as the homie, as they say, or somebody they can't give a title to. More than likely, those men aren't going to marry you anyway. So you want to stay away from those kind of people. Somebody who's willing to take you out on dates. So a date could be anything from spending time at the park to just having drinks only, or eating at a taco stand, or eating expensive dinner. Any of all of those are dates. It could be one time out of the month, it could be a fancy date. Then the next week, it could be in the park, or it could be, I could say, at your house. I don't really encourage the at house dates that much because you want to stay out of sex before marriage. And if you spend a lot of time at home, you can run into the temptation of wanting to sleep together. And that's not beneficial for you in the long run. Okay? Because a lot of times when you start sleeping with men, the way how things are set up nowadays, it's very easy, very fast. Like, we start sleeping with them, let's say first or second date, sometimes, for the first night. And when this happens, it could throw a monkey wrench, into your plans for marriage. I'm not saying that people who have slept together before don't marry, or even one night stands have married. But the point is, you want to give your marriage the best chance. You want to start your marriage off on the best foot when you do get married. So all those extracurricular sexual activity will not benefit your marriage, because we're looking for you to have a marriage where you will have lots of sex all the time for the entirety of the marriage, and for you to respect, trust, and love your husband and treat him properly. Okay? So as a wife, you are to treat him right, make him feel good about himself, and vice versa. So that's what you kind of break it down. You look for in a husband, okay? So, guys, what do you look for when choosing a wife? Okay, someone who is, the potential to be the mother of your children. Also, compatibility, Do you have anything in common? Are you guys on the same page when it comes to finances? Someone who respects you, who will encourage you, bring out the best in you, who will not tear you down on your shortcomings, someone who won't belittle you, or mistreat you or just want you, for your money, but you are not encouraged to be stingy either. So that's what's important, I think, to look for in a wife. You get whatever girl that you find attractive, whether she be large, medium, small, whatever, or whatever shade that you prefer. You find that, and then you look for all those other qualities, because I think the attraction is the first thing. Then you look for compatibility. Then you look for, can she be a good mother? Can she keep a stable home? Like, nurture your children positively, because you're both responsible for that, by the way. But since kids typically sometimes spend more time with their mother, you want them to be nurtured properly. So those are the things I think, men and women should look for in each other. And nowadays we want to pool our resources, so also somebody who could keep a stable job, or I don't know, some people do the at-home wife thing, like that. So like that, somebody responsible who's also good with money, because you want to pool your resources and you want to build something better for the both of you. You might want to buy a home down the line, or you might want to move somewhere. Some people are not interested in buying homes. Some people are just okay with renting, and that's fine. You might want to move to a nicer apartment in a nicer neighborhood. So you're on the same page when it comes to what you guys believe finances are, whatever it is for you. How you put your money together to benefit you so that you both will have a better life in the long run. Do you want children? Do you not want children? You gotta, some people don't want children and they find somebody else that doesn't, and that works for them. Because if one wants children and the other doesn't, it could cause a friction, And so we have to make sure that we have people that's compatible with us, people that we are attracted to. Sexual chemistry is very important. You don't want to be in a sexless marriage, okay? That's not a good thing. I know it's very common nowadays, but it is not encouraged at all. So, you both want somebody who respects you, who treats you well, who bring out the best in you, who encourages you, who doesn't tear you down, who doesn't talk badly to you or about you, and who's generous with you and believe in giving as also receiving. Nobody wants to try to take any advantage of anyone. And also, guys, you too want to find a lady that is willing to wait for marriage. But here's the thing. I really believe that when we truly find someone that we really like and we could fall in love with people without having sex with them. We fall in love with them and we want to build something with them. That usually could lead us to want to wait for sex, for marriage, because we're already programmed incorrectly to just believe that we have to have sex before we get married, or I can't be with anyone that I haven't tried out yet. Well, that mindset is not the correct way to think. It is actually the opposite that you should be thinking, because all the extracurricular sexual activity before marriage is what's destroying marriages and causing the no sex phenomena in marriage that we are seeing now. So on this channel, we encourage men and women to get to the best versions of marriage, which is a marriage with a lot of sex, everyday sex, for the rest of the year. I was reading an article before, and this lady, she said she decided for 365 days, which is the length of a year, we all know, that she was going to have sex with her husband every single day. And that's exactly what they did. And I was reading the story, and it was such a beautiful story to read. And when you do this, you bring yourself closer to each other. And you will not want to go seek sexual satisfaction or gratification outside of your marriage, because marriage, or sex, I should say, is about mingling our souls. When the more you have sex with someone in marriage, a healthy marriage, the more you draw to each other, the more you cling to each other, the more you want each other, the more you care about each other, the more you want to fight for each other and hold on to what you've built together. You understand? And believe it or not, when children are in families with two biological parents who have lots of sex, they sense the happiness in marriage, and this mold them into, in a good way to want to go on to have marriages. It's very good for the children in a psychological way. I'm not breaking it down correctly, but that's what I'm trying to say. It is, because that's very important. And the less friction you'll have, and you'll be more understanding towards each other, and you'll be less abusive in, like, let's say, verbally. It'll let you be softer and more understanding with each other. When there is no sex in a marriage, a lot of resentment can set in. It really can, from the spouse that cares about the sex, because usually in this scenario there's one that doesn't care and there's one that does care. So the one that does care is usually very bitter, very angry, and feel cheated, and there's a lot of resentment, and understandably so, because that's what no sex in a marriage leads to. So we want to get out of those type of marriages. We want to bring sex back to where it really belongs, which is really in marriage. But what's going on nowadays is that we're having all our sex outside of marriage, and we're going into marriage totally full with the spirits of other people. So we have no room for our spouse, the most important relationship that we'll ever have, which is our marriage. So that's what we should look for when we're choosing a spouse. I think those things are important. And when you're in a marriage with lots of sex, there's a more calmness, love, and peace in your home. Yes, you will argue, but you'll forgive each other easily, and your kids will feel at peace. Kind of like, in households where pets are, let's say, pets that were rescued off of the streets, and they were scared and, they were uncertain. But once they got to know they were in a loving home, they flourish and they thrive. So this is the analogy I'm using to say this is what your kids will be like. They will, they will flourish, and they will thrive, and they will know that this is the correct structure for them to be led into. Because you want to model this sort of marriage to your children so that they will know that they will grow up as soon as they hit, mid-20s. They should be looking for a spouse, and they should be waiting sexually. No young man should be out there running to 50, 60 women and then get married when he's old and half washed up, or the both ways. That's not the way to go. I know they said that's the way to do it, to men should get it all out and sleep with as many people as you want and then get married. And listen to that advice. Where did that come from? I think I have an idea who gave that advice. It is the worst advice, and it is an advice that is against you as a man and as a human being. So this also goes for women. Nowadays it's like an equal playing field. So that advice is to be perished, because it does not benefit you in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, it will do the complete opposite, and that is destroy you. So let's make marriage something good again, because it always was and it always will be good for you and for our communities and our children. So as usual, this channel is not about bashing anyone or any group. So if you're, any group hears these messages and they will be of benefit to you, by all means, take this advice. So thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it, and thank you. I'll see you again next time. Okay, bye.